2 years ago at the Game Awards, we got our first taste of what was originally called Project Century, now being referred to currently as Stranger Than Heaven. With the recent showcase that happened at May 6, going over a lot more of the greater details of STH, it starts to become a lot more clear as all of their eggs seems to be on the basket of Stranger Than Heaven in comparison to how lacking Kiwami 3 and Pirate Yakuza have been. Within the first seconds of the showcase, it confirms the long theorized rumor of this being an origin story of the legendary Tojo clan that has been well associated with the Yakuza franchise. Alongside that, with the lead protagonist, Makoto Daito, a half-American and half-Japanese orphan casted as an outsider seeking refuge in Japan, where even in his new home, he's still casted as an outsider. Alongside him, we get introduced to Orpheus. He is this human smuggler played by Snoop Dogg, and he acts as almost a guardian type of figure for the protagonist as he assists him on getting settled into the criminal world of Japan. It looks to be setting a nice, unique dynamic between Daito and his rival as they both seek a better way of life in Japan as they escape America. As you go through the game itself, it starts to set in an ambitious thing that hasn't been seen since Yakuza 5, where you go through 5 different settings, and these are all separated between 5 different time periods in the span of 50 years, going from the 1910s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Some of these settings returning from previous entries, like Hiroshima from Yakuza 6, and Fukuoka from Yakuza 5. And of course, you can't forget about the main iconic settings of both Kamurocho and Sotomori. It also looks to be setting up a unique thing for itself to separate itself from a Yakuza, a Like a Dragon, or even a Judgment, with the big focus on music, taking different ambient sounds from the first time period you're in, taking noises like the broom sweeps, the punches you make, or even the trains that echo through the area to develop a sound bank for yourself to make original tracks. On top of that, you are also in the showbiz of getting actual talent, setting up the set lists, and getting your name out there via promotion. The soundtrack for it so far is already amazing. With it previously being set to the side with the karaoke minigames, the soundtrack already on some of the other games that they have made is already solid on its own. And to put it up front on a chest like that is already an amazing way to set itself apart. With so much there being brand new, this is not just the only thing to make itself entirely different, as even the combat system, they went on so much of a full detailed 180 to where now you use the shoulder and trigger buttons to fight back. This looks to be a lot more slower paced, as you use those two on your left and right triggers to control each of their limbs, much like Tekken. This also puts a lot more in depth when you start to use weapons, and even the smaller details where you could even see how you start to see them rolling down the stairs or even in the dirt mid-combat, which is seriously amazing. I'm very much excited for, as this has been already a consistent thing where they experiment on the combat, as we've seen in the past with RGG's own titles, to go from beat 'em up, turn-based in 7 and 8, and even now with this current moveset, this looks to be a game changer, and I am personally excited to see how this new turn can go. Another thing too that I really am invested in, it's a lot more visceral and violent with all the details, where you can even see it go right up close, where you can start to see the actual blood kind of spill out, where you start to see Daito actually going in and stabbing enemies. This looks to be cranking up to an 11 in comparison to what you've seen from Kiryu, because you know Kiryu can never kill anyone, of course. And I already know I'm going to be there day one, ready to pick it up. And if you want to catch my first impressions on this, or any other updates related to this game, or any other thing related to RGG Studios, or even Sega, stay locked in here. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, or even hype up the video so we can get this out to everyone else. And that's gonna be it from me. Catch you next time, mateys.